Here is how you can get a Titanic as a free-to-play player inside of Pets Go. Now obviously getting your first Titanic will most likely be the most difficult thing inside of Pets Go, clearly as it has many components to getting it, but as it is a very hard item to get inside of the game, I'm going to try to show you guys the best strategies as a free-to-play for you to get the Titanic. Now clearly you will have many disadvantages inside of the game. One for such is the Diamond Printer Game Pass, which is the most efficient Game Pass when it comes to getting the most in return for how much you spend, of course. But you will be missing out as a free-to-play, so I'm going to be showing you some other strategies in which will increase your likelihood of getting a Titanic. Now obviously, unlike players who do have a lot of Game Passes, you will have to be very secure with your gems and not waste any, otherwise it will delay the time it takes for you to get your first Titanic. So I'm going to show you some strategies inside of the main world to start. The first one is by prioritizing grinding inside of mini events. So as you can see by this event world, this is most likely going to be some sort of permanent world or maybe even a temporary event world. And the reason why you want to prioritize grinding inside of these worlds is partially because of the rewards you will get from them. Now, the second reason why you want to grind inside of these worlds is partially because you also have a likelihood of getting a huge when just playing in an event world like this one. Those huges may not seem very significant, but as you can clearly see, they do go for a lot of gems in which you could use those gems and contribute it towards your Titanic goal. Obviously, the second thing is going to be very straightforward, and that is by rolling a lot inside of the game. In case you are new to the game, there is a brand new roll combo that they have added in recently, in which you will be rewarded with an increase in luck the more you roll consistently inside of the game. Now, this roll combo only helps you inside of the game if you actually stay and continuously roll. So if you do end up leaving the game for, say, like turning off your device or joining another game, this roll combo will get disturbed and will reset back to 0. Now, the issue with this method of rolling consistently inside of the game is although your roll combo increases pretty substantially, as you only have one pet rolling at a time, it will most likely not get you a Titanic, but it will increase your likelihood of getting huges. So I would suggest focusing on that if you're planning on getting huges to start. Then afterwards, you could obviously use those huges and trade them for gems. Using the gems you get, you can obviously trade for a Titanic. Now, clearly inside of the game, you are able to roll and grind inside of mini worlds. Let's use the mining world for example. Now, as you can clearly see when you stand inside of the mining world, you are able to first break the item in the mining world, and above that, you can roll and get yourself pets while increasing your roll combo. So it also helps you a lot in the sense that you will be maximizing on your allocative efficiency. Now, clearly the mining world is no longer the best as there are newer worlds that have been added in recently, but the mining world is not a bad place to start, especially if you understand how this world works, as it is a really simple place to understand. This is probably one of the better places to stand while rolling inside of the game. Why you want to roll inside of a world like this is because using the ores you get from breaking this bigger ore, you can use those mini ores or runic ores you get and use them to buy stuff inside of the merchant. Now, by the prices inside of the merchant, you can sell these particular chests that you buy using the ore and get yourself thousands and tens of thousands of gems, while above all of that, you will be increasing your roll combo. So it's really efficient when grinding inside of the game. Now, that is all very boring and obviously will require you to AFK a lot, but as a free-to-play player, there are many disadvantages, so hopefully those helped so far. The next few methods are going to require you to have more experience inside of the game, especially with trading. Now, before we get to the trading, remember to always upgrade your upgrades inside of the game. Now, what I would recommend is upgrading the event world that you plan on grinding in the most. Those will be the most useful when it comes to getting items and selling them for gems. Now, obviously, if you do only have one role inside of the game at a time, the luckier upgrade may not be the most beneficial, but you can obviously focus on that too if you desire. Now, the next few methods are going to require you to go inside of the trading plaza. So let's quickly go inside of the trading plaza and show you guys some of the trading methods inside of the game. Now, in case you don't know where the trading plaza is, they have moved the portal over here now, but let's quickly go inside. Right, now that we are inside the trading plaza, as you can clearly see, there is not that many people, and the reason why is partially because the game has been dying, but the second reason is most people have been using the roll method that I mentioned, like the diamond printer and the 12 dice game pass. So clearly they do spend some Robux, but if you are a free to play, that is obviously not a factor. So we're going to be showing you some trading methods in the plaza that may help you. Now, the first thing I would suggest you do inside of the plaza is to find event items that are currently on the way down and about to go away. Now, what I mean by that is when there's an event inside of the game, the event typically lasts between 1 to 2 weeks. And what happens between the 1 and 2 weeks that the event is around is items will typically be sold inside of the plaza in mass, in which you are able to buy them at a discount because of the high supply inside of the game. Taking advantage of that will allow you to buy items at a much cheaper price. For example, these heartbreak eggs had such a high supply inside of the game that when they were first out inside of the game during the end of the updates, they were only going for about 30 gems each. And like this person did is that they bought a bunch of these eggs, they held them for a little bit, and now they're selling it for over 500 gems per egg, which has drastically increased the amount of gems they make inside of the game. Now, obviously, doing this method is pretty difficult in the sense that not every item will have a demand for it, so obviously you're going to be sitting on a lot of them for a while. But if you do this method, it will also give you a really good chance of making tons of gems while playing in the game as a free-to-play. The second thing you can do is trying to find huges that already have a good enough value on them, but also aren't that expensive. Now, obviously, inside of the game, demand fluctuates accordingly depending on the supply that circulates around the plaza. So obviously, as we know, low tier huges aren't necessarily worth a lot, so they typically get resold inside of the game for really cheap, in which you can sometimes purchase and wait a little bit and they go up according to the inflation rates. Now, as the game has not had much inflation at all, as a matter of fact, it does have a deflation, so I would be careful about buying huges that are really close to the listed price on the pet. But if the pet is a very good pet in the sense that there's high demand and the price is pretty decent, for example, like a huge happy computer, then maybe it's not a bad idea to buy it when it's at or below the price that is listed on the pet. So continuing with this happy computer, as we can clearly see, this pet is going for 1.43 million gems per pet. What this is trying to tell you is that is the average price the pet is being sold for across the entire game. So what you can do knowing this information is if you find a pet for below this price, especially if it's a good few percent below the price, you can obviously buy it with the amount of gems you do have. Using those gems, you can make more gems and resell the pet back and forth, which will increase your profits inside of the game. Now, the probability of finding a lot of pets that are below the wrap aren't necessarily always going to be the highest, but as I mentioned earlier, a lot of free-to-plays typically have many of the luck game passes in which they're able to roll these huges really easily, so they may sell them in the plaza for a lot cheaper, giving you the opportunity to making profit. Because clearly inside of the game, the difference between a free-to-play and somebody who owns a lot of game passes is the difference between you having to trade inside of the plaza to make gems and just grinding in the normal world, rolling AFK for a very long time. Now, obviously, this method is technically going to be more difficult of making gems and will require you to actually move around and play the game a lot more. But as you are saving money and most likely going to save electricity, this is a really good method of making gems. Now obviously, all those gems will eventually add up to a Titanic, as currently a Titanic is worth about 1 billion gems. So yes, your chances of getting one is significantly higher now, as the prices are really low. Now what if you don't have any gems at all and you're a new player inside of the game? Well, first off, don't have too high of an expectation of making billions of gems off the bat. This game is a progressive game in which will take time for you to make profits, so be patient and you will get up there eventually. Now what I would recommend you to do if you are a new player is don't even worry about trying to buy huges and buy Titanics off the bat. What I would suggest you to do is to sell your lower tier pets inside of the game. For example, this Dalmatian, you can sell them all for about 1 to 2 gems each, which technically isn't a lot, but will give you the grounds to making more and more profit. How that works is once you sell an increased quantity of pets inside of the game, for example those low tiers, as soon as you sell all of your pets, especially if you have a high quantity, you will make enough gems to start trading. Now obviously 1 to 2 gems is not that much. Obviously I would suggest you sell some more higher tier pets like this fish for like 20 gems each, in which when you sell 5,000 of them, that's 20 times 5,000, which is over 100,000 gems. Now, you have to remember there is taxes inside of the game, I believe, so you won't get necessarily 100,000 gems on the dot, but you will get close to there, in which you can use that gem to making more gems by buying stuff and reselling it for slightly more. Obviously, as pro players do play the game a lot, if you sell something, for example, like this exclusive egg, for just slightly more than the actual listed price, most pro players wouldn't mind buying it just because they don't really care about that small amount of gems. But for you, you will make a lot of profit, especially if you have a low quantity of gems. Now, the estimated time this will take from a new player all the way to someone that gets a Titanic will vary depending on what you do. Now, on estimates, most new players typically would get their first Titanic from doing this within the first 40 days of playing the game. Now, I'm not talking about 40 days of different single days of playing the game. I'm talking about 40 consecutive days of playing the game. So, when you double click on your character, you will see the total playtime that you have on the game, in which will allow you to know how long you've been playing. And when I say 40 consecutive days, I mean when you click on your profile, it says total playtime is 40 days inside of the game, which may seem like a lot of time, but you have to understand a Titanic is really rare still. Although there is an increase in supply nowadays, it is still very hard to get, but this video should help you a lot more than most other methods that you are currently doing. So hopefully it does help you. Now, if you guys have any questions, make sure to comment down below in this video, in which I'll try to help you as much as I can. But other than that though, thanks for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe, and any questions you have, ask down below in the comments. Other than that, I will see you guys all in the next video. Peace.